world surrounded by franchises, reboots, and shared universes. An elite team of podcasters will risk body and soul to investigate the depths of intellectual properties, one multiverse, subgenre, and trend at a time. Who are we? We're the IP Squad. Welcome back to the IP Squad and our ongoing investigation into films based on Sherlock Holmes. I'm John Campbell. Of course, my partners for this investigation, it's the Jones boys. We've got Brendan Jones, who just said hello.
I jumped that. Sorry.
Yeah. You got to pick up those cues, man. And his more professional brother, Robin.
I'd like to thank you, John, and of course, Brendan, for allowing me to be on the show to do this new backdoor pilot to an exciting new podcast that I hope to promote, which of course is Freemason.
Yes.
Films of James Mason.
Yes.
In which we take a look at the man who is more than Humbert, and definitely more than Humbert. I hope you enjoy it.
You're being very free with starting off new podcasts for us.
Yes.
I hope that everyone will tune in to the first episode of Hemmings and Hawings, and that is.
You know what? As you say that, what's interesting is last season on the show was the King Arthur season, which I'm recording, of course, as I said last week, back and forth with this season, where I'm doing them simultaneously. So I just talked about Hemmings in Camelot as well. So I am sort of in a Hemmings run a little. He is Mordred. And the funny thing, of course, in that movie that we talked about on that episode, the only trained singer in the cast, and he doesn't get a song. They cut Mordred's song from the play.
Seven Deadly Sins.
Yeah, they cut the Mordred song that was in the Broadway show, and he's the only guy who was like, he's like an actual opera-trained guy, and they're like, no, more Richard Harris patter singing, please.
Right.
Is Camelot where they hop and jump and scram a lot? I'm always confused. Is that it?
Yeah,
okay.
No, we did that movie too, though.
And there's a guy who pushes around the pram a lot, and sadly,
I push the pram a lot. Yeah. Go back to last season, folks. You want to hear us talk about both Camelot and Monty Python and the Holy Grail. But I will say, I don't. This is not one where we're avoiding this because, we got a good one this week, folks. Oh, do we got a good one this week?
This movie's good.
This movie.
Yeah, I've got a real hot take.
I think I might have a hot take on this one as well, and I'm wondering, Robin.
I hope everybody's ready.
Get ready, folks. Put your oven mitts on. It's a hot one.
Put them on, because here's a hot one.
Yeah.
The disappointment that you feel watching The Private Life of Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
I believe this film is tonally what Billy Wilder was going for.
Yeah.
I believe that it's got both humor and a sense of melancholy throughout that is it's quite beautiful. And by the way, I mean I always make the podcast pilot joke, but if somebody wants to do a serious reconsideration of Bob Clark.
Oh, agreed.
And what that guy was capable of, because you go from Black Christmas to Murder by Decree to Porky's
to
a
Christmas
Story to Porky's the sequels.
Yeah.
And then
I will say in every shot in this movie where he uses a fisheye lens, which is not a thing that a lot of directors won't use because it is very sort of almost exploitation film tropey. But for like Ripper POV at the very beginning, and every time we're like the black horse and the cart and all that, and you're like, good Lord. Who else would have done that? But it's also, every time I see it, he uses it in A Christmas Story. It's like,
Yeah.
like ho ho.
I mean, that's the thing about
the
thing about even Porky's, which I don't think is a particularly great script.
No.
But and A Christmas Story, the thing about Bob Clark is he directed the shit out of everything, though. I mean, I think Porky's is well directed for even being a nothing movie.
Yeah. In every one of his films, at some point, there is people barely suppressing their own laughter. There's like a zany bit with John Saxon and his detective partner. There is stuff where Plummer is having the time of his fucking life with James Mason and laughing out loud. There is obviously the bits and Porky's, like when Kim Cattrall is barking and the gym teachers trying to suppress their laughter. And you have it in From the Hip, and you have a moment like that in Christmas Story. And it's just, he really enjoyed watching and knew how to do it where it didn't break the fourth wall.
Yeah.
Watching characters enjoy themselves.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that is a him thing, but it's also stated, on the Wikipedia at least. You guys probably listened to a commentary or
I haven't had the chance to, but yes, I did read the Wikipedia.
But yeah, the whole thing is, Plummer was like, that's the take he wanted. He wanted to create a more warm and emotionally aware Holmes, and it is a really smart choice. If this were a different story, I'd probably go, well, that's a take, that's a Holmes take. It's not my classic Holmes, whatever. But what is necessary is this is a heavy story. And I'm sitting there going like, both Mason and Plummer are aware that with all that darkness around, this is the warmest, most companionable Holmes and Watson we've seen. And Watson's not a doof.
No,
he is older than you'd want the character to be because they should be about the same.
Yeah,
age,
but because it's Mason, you're like, but it's just too good.
Yeah, no, because it's Mason, and they're and they do allow him to be capable. He's and the jokes there about. Dude, who is it? A bunch of angry husbands and stuff. Like he's the ladies' dude.
Well, the thing about source material Mason's older. Plummer is not too old, but he's a little old. What I like is we're meeting them well into this. They're firmly established as a partnership. That warmness comes from just like you really feel these are guys who've spent a decade plus by each other's side. And they're just this isn't testing their partnership in a certain way. It is they are a set thing. My favorite, maybe one of my favorite moments that's a small thing is when they find the first time they go to a crime scene of the Ripper victim. And the moment of Watson, and they're like, well, even for you, Doctor. And just the shot of it's Holmes in the foreground, Watson in the background, and Watson is like, holy Jesus. And Holmes is just locked in on it. And you're just like, right there. Right. There's that separation of the more human. Even though what I like is that the humanity of Holmes comes out more and more throughout the movie as he realizes the horror of what's happening.
Well, purposefully, he is, as Watson brings up, because the script is also quite good. But the thing where... Yeah, the thing where literally early on when the vigilance committee, the local vigilantes who are trying to they show up and literally Watson is like, you kind of were real just sort of disaffected and brusque with them, and he's like going, well, blah blah blah. But that's another Holmes choice, is he's distant, and then the more he gets into it, it becomes what's really awesome is, yes, this movie is jumping around tonally, but by the end, and some people online who don't like this movie as much, no one really says it's a piece of crap, but there are Holmes fans are like, here's the reason we don't like it is, they're like, is there even an ending? It just sort of peters out because he accuses people and he can't do anything. And I go, that's the point. The Ripper murders were real, and this guy, like good fan fiction, he has literally fit them into the real events to the extent that he does solve them, but he doesn't win the day. He can't talk about it ever. And you see at the end of the movie, Sherlock Holmes has lost. And it's not that his confidence is necessarily shaken, but you do realize this is where the legend gets defeated. And you're like, wow, that's pretty intense. Is that Sherlock Holmes is that last thing where he is in with the Freemasons, the Prime Minister, all that.
It's an incredible sequence. It is like
and the way that
Plummer needed an award for that. Honestly, so I don't know what something.
The way that Clark stages the whole thing, it's so good, and I don't think tonally actually it's bad at all. I think it's
not bad,
Clark
but it does
the landing.
The shifts are real. The shifts really work. I think
on mixing these things up.
Yeah.
It's not as zany towards the end as it is when like Watson's in jail and Lestrade and Holmes are kind of making fun of him a little bit. It to me, it just feels like that Clark was waiting for this opportunity, and he just took a big bite.
Oh, you can tell that. I mean, again, this is his first big jump up from being an exploitation filmmaker. But and Black Christmas is
Black Christmas is great. But the thing,
but this is like his. Yeah, he is shooting for he's going for that brass ring.
Yeah,
and he's equal to the task. I don't think this is amazingly directed.
I think it's really it's a guy though, using all the resources he's been given, and you can just feel like finally. And but similar to
he's been handed a cast. He's been
handed a cast. But I was gonna say similar to what I love about like a Sam Raimi, like you bring up the fisheye lens. He hasn't fully lost the exploitation filmmaker that's within, and he really employs it so well here. My hot take is whatever. My hot take is this is my favorite. This is my favorite Holmes movie. This is my favorite Sherlock movie, and I get why the purists though might be like, well, this isn't very Doyle-esque, and that's why I like it. What I like about it is this is really structurally like a noir movie. It's closer to something that Fincher would make than it is to, and the ending is part of that. It has this Chinatown
that
kind
just shows that you don't love Sherlock Holmes.
I'm sure people would say, but like, I love that ending of like, yeah, man, like you figured it all out, but you can't beat City Hall. Like, it's this thing about just like there are powers. There are powers above him, and it just and I love the Plummer performance of a guy who is not this supernatural, almost like superhero of deduction. He is he feels the most like a seasoned real detective, right? Like a guy who is extremely good at what he does, but his performance eschews so many of the eccentricities that a lot of the other actors really lean into. He's still very much Holmes. He still dresses in the outfit. He still smokes the pipe. But he is. This movie is. If this movie was made now, we would be like, oh, it's the dark, gritty Sherlock movie. They wouldn't have said that then, but that's what I like about it. I like where it is like, and the idea of the tone shifts too is part of the idea about like it starts as, oh yes, because I love the whole thing in the beginning where he's like, should we take up the chase, Watson? The game is afoot, and then eventually it starts to get into, we're not talking about it as a game anymore. This isn't stopping Moriarty. This is real, honest to God, monstrous evil that we are confronting, and it really affects him. So I love this movie.
I
love it too. I wouldn't say it's my favorite Sherlock, but it's a high quality film. It's great. It's up at the top of the list, but not my favorite.
Well, I mean, to John's point though, there are two movies in this entire list that we've been looking at that I wanted on disc, and one of them was 7% Solution. The other one was this one.
That's my other favorite. Those are my two favorites, both for the same reason, which are they really are like digging into the character. They're not as we talk about.
They're excellent fan fiction. They've taken the character out of the Conan Doyle stories, kept him true.
They're not deconstructionist. Same thing we said with 7% Solution. This isn't deconstructing Holmes per se.
No,
not really.
neither
No.
did Private Life. It was just
No.
again, it's like I want to call up parts of the tropes,
Yeah.
and I want to enhance them to look at them because we haven't really examined. We just take a lot of it at face value because they're in the books, and you go, well, why is he like that? I mean, that's not necessarily deconstructionist, but it is like, I want my focal point to be his relationship with Watson, or I want my focal point to be his weaknesses and addictions. You know, like all that isn't made up. They've just focused.
Right.
And I do think that this movie with different actors possibly wouldn't have been, I mean, just wouldn't be as good. Their camaraderie is really the heart and soul of it.
It is.
And again, the important thing is because the story is so dark.
Yes.
And I sit there going like the Ripper murders are handled. And by the way, the source materials, the reason this movie exists is it was in the late 60s and early 70s that some ripperologists, yes, that's a term.
Oh, yes.
At least a couple of them went pretty viral for their day because of their take on it was a conspiracy. It was Masonic. It was based in Masonic ritual. And there'd always been rumors, or at least suspicion, going way back. One of the Ripper suspects, they always said possibly Prince Edward, you know, Eddie. And you're like, wow, that's pretty out there. But that idea took hold in the popular, you know, imagination around that time.
Right.
And then this playwright's like, well, I'm going to take that and I'm going to put Sherlock Holmes into it. And have him figure it all out. The stuff where he exposes, because they're real people in this movie. I mean, real existing people like Charles Warren, and when he exposes the doing the Masonic handshake and all that, that is like a shit just got real minute. And I'm like, that stuff.
Those are
it just shuts them up, and
those are the moments I love. That where once again Plummer plays like the Messianic handshake and the symbols and stuff. And then I love, once again, he turns around, he's deadly serious about that. And then as soon as he turns around, once again, their camaraderie, Watson's just like, what was that shit? And he's just like, you know, man, I don't know. I did know some of this stuff. Like, the idea that, once again, it is like, there is the perception of Holmes to the world, of this guy who knows all, and then to turn around and only to his best friend, he goes like, I was making that shit. I don't fucking know. Like, I knew a couple of things and I kind of put them together. Like, hey man, I'm just riff. Yeah. I'm so sad that there's not 3 more movies with Plummer and Mason as these characters.
Wanted to be
100%.
From Hell,
couldn't agree with that more.
From Hell, the graphic novel, is exactly this without Sherlock Holmes,
right?
And it's Alan Moore riffing on exactly the same ideas and source material and characters. In fact, they changed the names. You guys read the Wikipedia. Yeah. They changed the names, but the coach driver, who's one of the Rippers, is they changed his name. That's Netley, who was a real guy who Alan Moore focused on in From Hell.
Yes.
And the main doctor guy who works with him, the bald older doctor, that's Sir William Gull, who is the prime Ripper suspect in From Hell. So they just changed the names. I'm not sure why they did, because they're using all these other historical figures.
Well, it's interesting that
those
it
two
says
suspects, they're like, no.
The screenwriter used the names, and then the production changed them. So I'm guessing at some point somebody got involved from legal probably and was like, there are probably still descendants or something that could sue us or something.
Yeah, but
I'm
by
sure.
the 80s when Alan Moore does From Hell, I guess it's like, well, no one's reading a comic book.
I think that's it exactly.
Right.
I gotta say, is that on the list of the most disappointing film adaptations of anything?
It's gotta be.
The From Hell was
gotta be, and I like those guys. And
the Hughes brothers are great filmmakers, and Depp, of course, I'm a huge fan.
And they really wanted to do it,
and it looks gorgeous.
Handed to them.
They had money. It looked amazing.
Yeah,
but boy, that script stunk.
No,
Depp's all in, but
it should have been a limited series.
Well, I do think that would be the way to adapt it.
Adaptations of
true,
comic
shrinking
book
it down,
series,
and turning it into more of a potboiler rather than this. You know, the more work is very sprawling. You know.
Yeah.
Anyway. You talked about,
but this Murder by Decree. To your point about how noir it is, John, it was towards the end of the 70s, and we'd already seen
this is 79.
the
I don't think we've said
parallax
that.
view and All the President's Men and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
This speaks to that mood and time.
A mistrust of government
more than,
and
7% Solution even does, with all of its references to cocaine, because 7% Solution at the end of the day is much more of a romp.
Well, especially the second half, the mystery they end up solving is very more Doyle-esque. It's very, this is really, there's not, the mystery here is, it is a mystery, but it really is, as you talk about, conspiracy. So you do start to pull threads in a different way than the traditional Holmesian thing, where this clue leads to this clue leads to this due to the deduction. It's there.
The point you were making about when he's examining the corpse, what's so great about Plummer is he's able to take Holmes in so many directions, and it doesn't feel like he's not a real character. If anything, it makes him more
this
real.
Is the most real he's ever felt to me as like a person, right? Like
he's very aesthete. He's also chummy and joking. This is a smiling, laughing.
I mean, when the first scene of them at the opera is great, and they're great. They're just
when Mason makes that joke about Lestrade being the king of detectives.
If I'm the prince of mysteries,
he goes, I'm just the prince of detectives. He goes, yes. He goes, and who dare I ask is the king of detectives? And then Watson, just because he knows he's just like, well, Lestrade, and then they both go, these guys are
instantly
buddies.
You're just like, oh, these are two best buds. I love it.
But
you
when
rarely
see
the
Holmesian locked-in laser thing, it's like, that's what I want. And him finding, like, because the big clue is the grape stem, and that's a thing which, by the way, that isn't one of the Ripper. They found.
No, I mean the level of research the screenwriter do, which you know what I'm about to bring up about this guy,
thing
right?
Is, I am not any kind of expert, but I've read plenty of Jack the Ripper stuff.
Yeah.
Every time women are screaming,
way to go, Specs,
and he's choking them.
Yeah.
I'm like, the whole thing with Jack the Ripper. One of the things that they didn't. No one overheard much, maybe a whimper, is because generally speaking, he would get behind them and he would slash their throat, which cuts the vocal cords.
Yeah.
And because he's behind them, he didn't get blood on himself because it's going forward and he's behind. So it was so quick. What took time was him literally dissecting them on the ground.
Yeah.
So it's like the whole thing with like, and he's choking. I'm like, that's not. And of course, I mean, the theory about this being conspiracy leads to there being a coachman and a killer.
Mm-hmm.
So this thing of him depositing the bodies, like taking them out of a handsome cab and laying them in the street, is also kind of like, I think the Ripper kind of did all the stuff on the spot. Again, that's just because I've read all that gross stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but still... I was surprised at how much real stuff they worked into this. Because when I saw this as a kid, I didn't know any of that Jack the Ripper stuff.
Yeah.
I was just like, wow. And now I sit there going, it's impressive how much of the real stuff they put in.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're still able to work Lestrade and Holmes and Watson all the way through.
We talked, because the thing that unfortunately, and it came up in some of the reviews we read for, was it A Study in Terror? Is that what it was? Or Study in Fear?
Yeah,
Study in Terror. Study in Terror, where we had, there have been many people who have put Sherlock Holmes against Jack the Ripper because the timelines do work out. And so that's a tantalizing idea of, the most infamous serial killer of this era and this fictional great detective. Oh, it's just so, but this one did the work that one didn't. And also treats it with a severity that I think that I really, like I said, I really like. This is a serial,
like,
it's true. But this is really like a serial killer movie in that subgenre, in a way that the
Clark really gets you, and this is where a lot of the Black Christmas stuff comes in. Obviously, the most horrible one was the last one.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole thing of Mary Kelly, and she's actually in her apartment in her room, and she's killed there.
Yep.
And Bob Clark doing this kind of thing where it's outside the window.
I
will say also Foggy London Town.
Yep.
This finally actually made it feel probably the way it was, because the way one of the not victims, but well, no, she was one of the victims, but who's like tries to hook up with the guy walking down the street, but then the coach comes out of the darkness and it's like, are you alone? Let me get you home. And then you're just like, that's what it would have been like, literally a horse and carriage just coming out of fog, and it's shot so well. You're like, that's the vibe, that's the
and also the way they show you the Rippers, but they don't show you the Rippers. You kind of see them, but you don't exactly.
They're and it's also
monsters,
confusing because
right?
there's a guy in the we see arm and we see like the back of the head, but we also see literally the coach driver at one point is hopping off, and then and if you don't know any of this Ripper conspiracy stuff, you're like going, wait, so which guy is the Ripper? Wait, hold on. And that's good movie making. You're like, I don't get it.
The thing I was going to say about that is this is the first Holmes movie we watched that really felt like a thriller in a way that like I was like thrilled by it. Everything else has sort of been, to your point, Robin, a romp, an adventure of sorts, right? It's sort of like, we're off to find the thing, Watson, and the clue to this. This one really feels
very often in Sherlock Holmes classic stories and the movies that get adapted, generally speaking, there's a victim.
Yeah, it's a murder. It's a murder or a theft or,
This wisely, and on the part of the writers and the filmmaker, they're like going, no, we can't escape the fact these were real people and they were horribly murdered, which, Sherlock he can handle it, and Watson can handle it because he's a doctor, though he's like, that is horrible, and I don't even want to think about it. But I'll look at it and go, right, they cut from here and da-da-da.
He can switch into that mode. Holmes is permanently in that mode, right? Like,
yes, and it's just so good that they understood we can't turn this into an adventure because it's a serial killing that really happened.
That's what I'm saying.
So
This feels
handled it.
This feels more like I kept thinking about Fincher watching this. It felt more like Zodiac or Seven or something like that.
And for me, it felt more like Pakula.
Pakula for sure, absolutely, and in that conspiracy thriller,
like Flute or Parallax.
Which I mean, that's another. I mean, I think one of the reasons I love.
Robin's always going to bring up Pakula.
Well,
if there's one guy who's going to bring up Pakula.
You know what? I'm right there with you. Pakula, I feel like one of the unsung auteurs. I mean, his style.
Then it's up to you to sing. If he's unsung,
yeah,
let your voice ring out for Pakula.
I just think he's a guy who doesn't get enough. I just don't think he gets enough credit for really establishing that kind of movie. People are still cribbing on Pakula, but not paying as direct credit to as they do to Hitchcock, right?
Well, and the way he worked with Gordon Willis in those three films in the 70s, it's just, you look at them and it just drips with shadow and menace.
Amazing. I mean, those are Parallax View and Clute and all that, and then subsequently the other things that were in that era, whether it be like Pollock doing 3 Days of the Condor and all those kind of movies, or I just was watching.
I think kind of what we're
all the President's Men. People think about the fluorescence of the offices, but also the garage were deep throated.
Yeah. But what I'll say is one thing that we're basically all saying is this movie feels like it's decade. This is a 70s film. Dealing with Victorian era,
even though it's very handsomely portraying the Victorian.
And heightened grittiness and the soul-crushing conspiracy kind of thing. It's like, this isn't a feel-good Holmes movie, and that is the point. Which some people, it really throws them. And I still find Holmes at the end of this movie, he is exactly who I want him to be. He's incredibly noble and he's brilliant.
Well, he still succeeds at the Holmes stuff.
He can't buck the system. He cannot say, I'm going to expose the royal family. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
even this movie does a dance where they're like, are you saying the Queen knows about this? And he's like, I'm not saying that.
I do love that.
They're still dealing with that family who's still the ruling family.
Right.
That whole thing at the end where it's like either by their own, thinking that they're acting, or they were ordered. I don't know, but some bad shit happened. And this whole idea that,
the best that they'll do is that the prime minister says it would be good if this woman went away.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then others took that to mean murder lots
they
of
do play up the idea that Gaul, who I can't remember what name he's given here, but the doctor guy, they basically go, he was already addled. But when you said this is for queen and country, he's like, absolutely, let's get to work. And you're like, it's like pointing a Lee Harvey Oswald, or not to get too conspiracy, but it's like the guy was already halfway there, and all you did was say the queen would so like it if this problem would go away.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Got yeah, and so that's the thing. Where
and the way Gilgan says that line of, "Are you suggesting that I step down?"
Yeah.
And Plummer's like, "That'd be great." But
it is a thing where the whole movie, because you see him in the credits, and also you see Genevieve Bujold in the credits, and you're like, where are they? And they're all at the end.
Oh,
and each one takes their scene and destroys.
That, which I love.
Like, wow, that's so good.
Donald Sutherland.
Hold on to these.
Same thing with
in the hole.
Same thing with Sutherland as well, who just gets his section of the movie.
Sutherland does get to string through, but
a bit more.
But I have to say, if you need a kind of out there psychic in Victorian times, you found a man.
I gotta say, one of Screen's greatest.
All that stuff is working, and just those eyes.
The second you see that guy. And not just the eyes, and then the bags and the dark circle, and he's just
the whole idea.
He's so quietly spoken too. It's sort of like
both him and his wife are as cursed by this gift as they are gifted by it.
I was like, where do I know his wife from? Christmas Story. She's the teacher. Bob Clark uses her again in Christmas Story.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, this is a British and Canadian co-production.
Yes.
I know that in order to take advantage of that Canadian money, they had to load up this cast with Canadian actors. But Clark, to his credit...
Yeah, but if one of those is Donald Sutherland,
some of the best Canadian actors...
Yeah, not bad.
Plummer, Sutherland, Bujold, they're all from Canada.
Is Susan Clark, is she...
I don't know.
Canadian?
I don't know if she's
It's always weird to see her in a film.
She
not
is
that
Canadian,
she does a
Brendan.
fine job.
Yeah.
She's what?
She is Canadian.
She is Canadian.
Okay.
Yep.
But I'm like going, wow, Webster's mom.
Yeah.
She's fallen on some hard times.
Right.
And the fact that the thing that always got me,
people who are watching her career was like, Jesus Christ, Hackman's wife from Night Moves is doing this bullshit sitcom.
And really married to the guy. I always thought that was crazy that they were an actual couple that were raising Webster.
She's in
Coogan's Bluff too.
They met on the a TV movie about this Olympian Babe Dietrichson, and fell in love.
That's nice. She's also in Coogan's Bluff, which is great.
It's a beautiful story, and I'm glad we were here to share it with the
and she's also in Porky's. He uses her again.
All right.
Susan,
not Susan Clark.
No. Susan Clark is in Porky's.
Really?
I'm looking at her IMDb right now. I don't know the movie well enough to know exactly where she was in it.
John, be honest. You're watching Porky's right now.
Well, I always have it up in the corner, just to be sure.
She's in Porky's. I just saw her. No, look, there she is.
I'm telling you, I know Porky. No, I don't know where. Both her and her husband, Alex Karras, are in Porky's.
Wow.
So,
oh my God, you're right.
Yeah.
No, 100% you're right, John.
Once again, I don't know the movie well enough to know where they are.
Karras, I think, is the sheriff or somebody that's related to the guy who
they say sheriff.
Porky's.
Yeah.
And then Clark, I forget who she plays, but Jesus Christ, I'd forgotten all about that.
But once again, I've always liked filmmakers that bring the same people back and have their little rep companies.
Yeah.
I think that's nice.
That's why in From the Hip,
which you've mentioned now more than anyone.
You know what though? I think that's an underrated movie. I think it's an underrated film.
Teens and Porky's.
That's a good Judd Nelson vehicle.
A great John Hurt performance, though.
I haven't seen it in a long time.
I remember.
The thing I like about that guy is he really shoots from the hip.
Can I say though, speaking of actors, Brendan, to your point earlier, you were saying, "Boy, you can't imagine this movie without these actors." These weren't the original choices for these parts.
I know,
and it is. I will say,
who are they thinking about?
This was a very different movie. If Peter O'Toole had played Sherlock Holmes, and Laurence Olivier had been Dr. Watson.
So they would have been quite older.
They would have been much older, and I think they would have been much more... I mean, who knows how Clark would have directed them, but I feel like they would have leaned more into... They were very theatrical. And Mason could be too, but I do think Plummer and Clark probably balanced out Mason. And
Holmes would have been a much boozier.
Well, Plummer certainly had his... Plummer certainly was not afraid of a drink either, though.
Would have been louder.
Yeah, O'Toole would have gone bigger, I feel like. As an actor, I never saw that, Although I will say this is in that, because there's James Mason's original run of, being James Mason. And then he kind of disappears. And this is in that same vein that we love him in the Tobe Hooper Salem's Lot as well. And then into this, and then into how fucking amazing is in The Verdict as well. That this is in the late...
Jesus Christ,
Mason really turned into a very grounded actor from his classic days of being James Mason. Here he's still James Mason, but he weathered that change into the grittier, more grounded movies quite well, I feel like, in his older years.
And now we come to Robin's Last of Sheila corner.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Because Richard Benjamin always talked about how James Mason, the night before their big confrontation scene at the end of the movie, spoilers if you haven't seen it, but
which he's also great in that, of course.
But Mason was just talking to Benjamin, and all of a sudden Benjamin realized that conversationally he had just started slipping in dialogue from the next day's scene. And so he was wanting to run lines, but run them as naturally as possible. And Benjamin said he worked with a bajillion method actors, but that was the first time that he ever saw somebody using it in a way that made a lot of sense to him.
That's great.
And he said, and apparently Mason had done that on quite a few of his films. If he had a big scene coming up, he would try to run lines, but run them as if he were actually talking to the person. So he would just work it into conversation.
And so in this movie, that really works with how the grounded approach that Plummer is bringing to Holmes. Obviously, then Mason 100%. Is able to match that. And so, these guys feel... I said these guys feel real. You almost would go, this is the first time I've seen a Sherlock Holmes movie where not only have they put him in a real case, but you almost go like, oh, was he an actual historical figure? Like, you could believe that this Sherlock Holmes was walking around 1800s London in a way that you couldn't with Rathbone,
Yeah, they've purposefully made him human and relatable.
I mean,
it's like, oh, we don't think of him that way because he is so iconic, but they purposely are like, we want him to be the moral center as well as the most brilliant detective, and that's great because Holmes is traditionally pretty cold. Though he does the old man and old chum stuff with Watson, but generally speaking, he's not.
When we get to Cumberbatch, they'll get into expressly that, like, he is a sociopath to everyone except Watson, and that's like part of the whole thing. Right?
They're essentially they present him as on the spectrum. That's the whole idea.
He's a self-described high-functioning sociopath on that show, which I love. But the thing to me, the like really should have been like considered. Take what you will from awards, but like truly award-worthy performance is the scene with Genevieve Bujold in the mental institution. I think that's some of the best acting I've seen Plummer doing it. She's amazing too, but the way that is so not a traditional Holmes scene, the way he is able to reach that, and it's a long scene. It's a long scene where you really watch him reach this woman on an emotional level, and it's so well written and performed. And I really
I would
applaud that.
also argue
Don't
the
argue,
last.
Rob.
No, I'm going to argue.
No,
it.
I mean across this whole movie.
I
yeah.
will tell you,
You're
like the scene where they catch up to Holmes after he's thrown that guy into the deadly net.
Yeah. Oh, the way the guy goes out is
Doom.
so horrifying and kind of satisfying.
The way because he's barely able to stand up, and Lestrange's got him. He goes, "Help, Watson."
Yeah.
The way he reads that line
The whole
is so beautiful.
I agree.
A really great Plummer performance here.
The whole
third
third act,
ready to go.
He did. Yeah, he's locked in on this thing. I mean, as he was pretty much in anything. I can't think of many movies where even fucking something as stupid as like Star Crash, he still got gravitas in, and you know he doesn't give a shit about it. You know.
I'll tell you one that you can't believe he's so locked in on. That's Dragnet '87, man.
He's great in Dragnet. Agreed. I really I enjoy that movie.
I don't think that movie works, but
I like
every
that
actor
movie though.
in it is on the same page.
Yeah, I think that's what I think that's what's
about it.
working. It's like Aykroyd's whole commitment to that performance. It makes the movie worthwhile.
It makes it a lot more watchable.
And
the parody stuff they get right.
Dabney Coleman's great in it too.
In that movie. Anyway, it's very good.
Yeah, hot take. Hanks is good at acting.
But in this thing, you have a Holmes, and it works as opposed to you going, what? I mean, there are purists out there, and I should never mock a purist, and they're like going, that's not my guy. But that final speech is not just him being indignant, but also accepting the harsh reality. I'm just looking at it going like, I've done some acting. I would never. I can't.
I think it's you put yourself on a Plummer level. Yeah, no.
It's all in his face, and he has actually been brought not to tears. It's not falling, but there's this tear in his eye when he's literally going like, I've got you guys. Here's everything. I could prove it. And how dare you? And it's just where he's angry and he's broken. And it's all at the same time. He's vulnerable and strong. And you see it all right there. It's not one or the other. He's not shifting between them. It's mixed. And you're like going, holy hell, Christopher Plummer.
No, I mean, legitimately, I feel like I'm
not a fan of Sounds of Music. I've never really been.
I think he's amazing in it, though. I think he's incredible.
But I mean,
I find it.
Didn't do a bad performance, and yes, I've watched Star Crash. All right, anyway.
No, he's great, and I mean, and look, I think I mentioned a little bit last week because of Nicholas Meyer, but I'll mention it again. He's incredible in Star Trek 6, and then I'll just move on. He's astounding in Star Trek 6.
And I will also say, at this time when he made this movie, he had also made a movie that I love to watch almost every Christmas, which is The Silent Partner with Elliot Gould.
Oh, I like that movie quite a bit.
Made in Canada.
That's a very good movie.
Canadian film.
I like,
And if our longtime listener viewers want to check out just the oddest little cult Hitchcockian thriller.
It's a good movie.
And by Hitchcockian, I mean as funny as it is thrilling. The Silent Partner. Christopher Plummer's
you would dig it. Brendan. You would dig it, Brendan. It's very good.
You dig it a lot. Young John Candy has a couple of scenes in it.
Wow,
it's really good.
And I gotta say,
but I don't support Canada. I really
too polite, man.
That's a joke. Everyone I've met from Canada is exactly what you'd imagine.
It's one of those stereotypes that's like it's both true and are you really upset that your reputation is everyone's so nice up there? But I mean, in my experience, that has been the case. They are a lovely people.
Routinely through the '80s, who would scream almost daily, "Canada can't make a good movie; they can only make good animation." I have since pulled back on that.
They make some good. They've got some good TV up there as well. I've seen some solid Canadian television productions as well.
I would say Canada can't make a good movie,
really good
but Canada makes essentially the comedy of the 20th century. I mean,
100%.
Canada, the roots of all the stuff that we consider classic comedy from like the 1970s on
is
it's
mostly
like,
Canadian.
Thank you, Canada.
Yeah.
Thanks.
But I gotta say,
and Second City.
Talking about Plummer, also a guy. Look
You're
at
welcome,
his.
Brendan.
I mean, literally like to his dying day, just never lost it. I mean, even down to Knives Out, right? I mean, which is basically his last movie.
Oh God, yeah.
He's incredible. I mean, incredible in that.
I'll give you another one. His voice work in Up is amazing.
Yep.
I mean,
Yes.
Yep.
the thing of just the way he screams out that line, why can't somebody go and find these people? And the way he like sets up that big, huge thing, so then it cuts to the kid being dragged across the glass.
Yes.
That's
it's amazing.
great because he understood exactly what was needed there.
And
he was really old when he yelled that out too.
Yes.
But no, that's the thing. He never, even old Plummer, never lost that gravitas. It is.
What I'd say is, if you need to replace an entire Kevin Spacey performance, you could do a lot worse than getting.
And you know what? I think he's that movie's whatever. It's all right. But he's incredible in it. And you go like, I don't know what Spacey was doing, but it couldn't have been as good as this. Regardless of whatever things, you're just like, I can't imagine he was this good.
Plummer always like Vincent Price. What I love about Christopher Plummer is you watch him in anything, and he has this wicked twinkle in his eye.
Yeah,
and you just get this idea.
Not to just keep doing this, and I swear this would be the last one. But I mean, I just opened up his IMDb there. Him playing Mike Wallace in The Insider, incredible.
Oh my God,
amazing!
Yeah.
I love that movie. Talk about a very Pakula-esque movie, by the way, too. The Insider.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but and Mason's right there with them. Is there any? I mean, I do love. We mentioned him very briefly, but even though he's got a small but important role, I do think Hemmings is great as the inspector.
I think he's great.
100%.
And that whole moment
who ends up being part of the local
socialists.
Yeah,
the radicals.
The radicals.
That whole moment,
he's been slipping them information.
The whole moment where he's following them.
Where Sherlock goes, if Mary Kelly dies, and it's due to your fault, he's like going, I will destroy you. I mean, it's Holmes basically like, dude, if she dies,
I want to see if I can find this because the wording of it is amazing. It's like if she dies. And I have my hand is strong. It's something. It's really well written. And he goes, "I will show you no mercy.
I will show you no mercy." Yeah,
and you're just like,
"Damn, bro."
That's the thing. Once again,
this is a Sherlock where I would not want to mess with him.
It's
on a physical level.
It's all wrapped up in
he's
this.
Got the bolo.
I love that moment where Watson's like, could I I know you don't care for them, but could I persuade you to, take a handgun with you? And he's just like, oh, I don't need it, Watson. Look at this. And he whips the thing around and bashes the glass beaker on the table.
And then
I learned it from the Thuggies.
Scarf, and you hear the sound effect as he walks off frame.
Yeah.
Yes, you hear another.
Come on, Bob and Clark.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I mean, this
Come on, Bob Clark.
Can I briefly, just for a quick second, step into 007 corner?
No. Okay, Brendan.
Brief.
John, let me step into Last of Sheila corner.
So no one lets me step into a corner. I guess you
gotta claim your corners, man.
It's
just that
Brendan Jones,
John Hopkins, who wrote this movie, wrote Thunderball. I don't know. He wrote the screenplay for Thunderball.
I did see that.
Yes,
and I did expect you would bring that up.
Yes, of course. Yeah, he wrote. I mean, him and Richard Maybaum are credited, but whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, he also wrote The Offense for Connery as well, the Sidney Lumet police drama
with Sidney Lumet.
Yep. Because apparently Connery was a huge fan of this guy's plays, so So which is great.
Which is probably
he
where
also
we get huge grandstanding Christopher Plummer Sherlock Holmes speeches from.
Can I say that we did miss out on Plummer ever being a Bond villain though? That would have been that would have been something.
Or a Columbo murderer.
Actually, that's the one I'm shocked he didn't do. You would have thought they would have got Plummer on there at some point. He was
that guy.
Exactly the kind of actor they loved on there to have gone toe to toe with Falk. This guy also adapted Smiley's People for the BBC, and I love both of those.
Wow.
Alec Guinness.
Is that the
Alec Guinness
one?
Yeah, I love both of those. Tinker Tailor and Smiley's People are both excellent.
Well, John, you and Brendan and mine's mother, I tell you what.
Yeah, that's right. Mom always loved the
Le Carré.
Smileys.
Oh yeah.
She could have shot that stuff up like heroin. She would have, because she loved it.
And he was married to actress Shirley Knight.
Oh.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. So
okay,
there you go.
Wow.
Good on you, John Hopkins. And this is, I mean, once again, we talk about like down to the. I mean, I just think this is such a well-written movie, which is why I was disappointed to see that one film critic, Gene Siskel, didn't like this movie.
He was pretty mild on it. He gave 2 stars?
2,
or something?
yeah. And he said,
I don't think he destroyed it.
No, but he said the thing that you were saying, Brendan, about he just goes like, nothing happens, man. It's a 2-hour movie, and there's no solution. You introduce all this stuff, but where's the solution, man? Where's Holmes solving the mystery? It's boring. Like, it just falls apart.
I say that. I say, Gene, why don't you go back to your favorite pastime of standing in front of your original suit from Saturday Night.
Yeah,
you know what I love
right.
is if anyone was remotely a fan of Siskel and Ebert, they know he brought up that fucking suit all the time, man. And he put it on. That was always my thing. At some point, he slipped. Big 6'7" Gene Siskel tried to
all the time.
And that thing came up to his elbows, right? Because he was just such a huge, long-limbed
dude. You
dude.
can tell by the way he used his walk. He's a woman's man and doesn't have any time to talk.
I don't know if I could tell that.
But he was a frequent. He did frequently hang out at the Playboy Mansion.
I do have one criticism about this whole movie.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Here it comes.
As much as I enjoyed it, I thought the score was not particularly strong. I didn't. I kept thinking it was
I would agree with not particularly strong. I don't think it's bad, but it didn't. It didn't make a huge impression on me.
I will say I was concerned because in the first scene, which is really it's one of the Ripper murders, and it's not. It's well shot because again he's creating this atmospheric, and we're in the killer POV, all that stuff that works. But the music they have chosen, the 2 guys who did the score, and it's 1979. They are clearly doing Jaws. They are just in that one scene though, but it's definitely like dun 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 dun, and I'm like, don't guys, and it's like dun. I'm like, they are doing it. Oh, don't do Victorian era Jaws thing.
I thought when the parts that were sadder and more melancholic. It just felt like they were playing into it too much, and so it just kind of drones.
Yeah, it's like just trust.
It ended up kind of dragging it a little bit, and
But
I just kept thinking, well, I don't want something. It's like anything like that. But
no, I mean, well, and there is that sort of which we heard in.
Love the
it doesn't even matter.
I'm glad they eschewed that as well because that is sort of the traditional like Sherlock sound, right? We think about. I love the music in 7% Solution, which is more rompy.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of music that's also in the Guy Ritchie Sherlock Holmes movies or on Sherlock. This bum 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 bum. Where it's like we're off on an adventure kind of. And I like that this movie is once again more. And to that point, talking about the Ripper murders, the idea that he shoots them. They're very disturbing, but he is not exploitative. When we
actually, I saw a lot of people complaining about how exploitative it was.
Well, that may speak to the kind of sick,
gory it was.
The kind of sick, gory movies I watch. Because I was going to say, I respect the restraint. The idea that the only murder we really see on camera is through the frosted glass, and just you can see them cut into this woman and her screaming. And it's really more. I mean, I think what it is actually is people saying it's so gory is a testament to how good the filmmaking is. Because I think you think you see more than you see. A lot is implied.
Sure, the closest they get is the shot of the Rippers, one of the later murders, but pre Mary Kelly, where they take her out of the coach, and it is just blood, and his hands are totally drenched. But this isn't a movie that
but you
shows
don't see
it's
what
lots they would have looked like. They talk about it, but her
Yeah.
clothes are still intact, and you're like,
Yeah.
he literally gutted these women, and they do later on do the thing about it's all the Masonic ritual stuff with the Jewes and the whole thing of cut the throat, open the chest, put the breast over the left shoulder, all that stuff, and they talk about it, but they don't show it. And I'm still sitting there going, that's still impressive. They're at least including that stuff.
And because the movie is more interested in seeing our characters react to the violence than it is about showing you the gory details of it. The other thing I like too, then though, is when you see the other murders, like when the informant guy gets stabbed, they're very sudden, quick acts of violence. He gets stabbed through the heart and done. It's like it's a very realistic depiction of violence in a way that I appreciate.
The sword stick, I was like, all right. That felt very like, well, we're doing Victorian kind of stuff, so the guy does have to have a black cloak.
Yeah.
He does have to have a sword stick.
I also love with a sword stick.
The other thing I love is Holmes finding the body.
Nothing's wrong with the sword.
Well, the other thing I like is that Holmes says sword stick when he's looking at the guy's body. It's like the size of this wound, sword stick. I'm like,
they
love
let
it.
Sherlock
love
be
it.
Sherlock. He's picking up all kinds of stuff.
It's great. And then the final act of the movie doesn't have that. It's the inverse of 7%, which I love. I love the train chase, but once again, that's the rompier. It's a violent chase. I love the image of, and if someone can please make me a Christopher, I should talk to my friend Ibrahim who makes custom figures. I want a figure of Plummer in the thing with the cut on his cheek and the bleed. Like it's just a perfect action hero like injury that is just sliced and it just looks cool. Like I want a battle damage Sherlock figure.
Sherlock with battle damage.
Like Brendan's the Spirit Denny Colt with the head that you can put on where he's had the shit kicked out.
That's awesome.
They did this pretty sweet Spirit action figure years ago where you had the swap out heads, one with the hat and and the other one without the hat, but the hair's been like curled down in the battle.
Oh man,
he's got like the busted lip.
I'm jealous of that. That sounds cool as hell, man. I don't even have a Spirit figure.
Somebody's brother sent it to Brendan for Christmas or a birthday, I believe.
Yeah. Good.
And it
good
came
call,
with
Robin.
The 3D letters that spell out Spirit in the Will Eisner.
Oh my God, that's rad as hell.
But each letter is individual because you can stack it and do weird stuff with it, like they did, and it comes with Denny Colt's great tombstone as well.
I may have this cool Indiana Jones figure next to me that I was showing you earlier, but that sounds rad as hell.
It is rad as hell.
Yeah.
We had to go into action figure corner, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll see if I can find my.
Wrap up because all we're doing is talking about how.
Well, no. But what I was gonna say is that when the guy dies and also I do love just how great casting on the killer. Right, just his whole look. That when you see him, he is almost supernatural in the way when Holmes walks in on them murdering Mary Kelly at the end of it, and just the way they look at him. And I also love him pulling the coachman out, and he's just gone. He's vacant in the eyes.
Yeah. No, actually, the doctor is the crazy one that's just up against the wall staring like he's in a trance.
Oh yeah, sorry, the doctor.
The coachman is the guy that he chases
into
the net.
This is right.
The coachman is actually cognizant. He's actually there.
But I do love
the guy. Is this demented doctor.
That moment when he gets him against the wall and he just sees that there's he's just like and he just drops him and
he's got the red hands.
Yeah, and plus it's also he knows he doesn't have to do anything more. It's like this guy will not put up a fight.
But the guy
been stopped. The other guy is the guy who's got to chase.
The guy dying in the net is so gnarly because it takes a while, and it's not a victorious, defeating of a villain.
It's pathetic.
Yeah, and it's just like, and you just go like, oh, ugh, like it's just, and even and I said then Holmes just watches him knowing. This guy's dead, and then it's the great, help Watson, and then I love
because I like he literally drops because he has gone through a lot, and even though he's completely capable, that would wear anyone out. This is a very human Holmes where he just as soon as the guy's dead, he kind of just slumps.
Yeah.
He's like,
right.
oh God, what a day I've had. You're like, yeah.
This movie
exactly.
also may have the most police whistles I've ever seen in a film, and I appreciate that.
I will say that is Victorian.
Yeah, I like that. I was the other thing. It doesn't have my favorite thing, which is in a lot of those, which is somebody shouting "murder." I always love that.
And none of the Bobbies said, "What's all this?" Then
I was already saying.
Though I did see one of the Bobbies was listed in the credits as Harry Snapper Organs.
What's all this? I was already saying.
Sancho Panza.
We should also mention, and I think we mentioned it when we talked about that movie, that Frank Finlay plays Lestrade in this and Study in Terror.
I know.
And Anthony Quayle, who is Sir Charles in this, was the owner of the soup kitchen in Study in Terror.
Yeah.
I just love these guys.
Who's a rabble-rouser himself.
These guys were just around England enough in the film industry that they ended up in not only 2 Sherlock Holmes movies, but 2 Sherlock Holmes movies with the same basic idea. I just think is funny. And in one of them, in the same part, they're like, yeah, just use him again.
Yeah,
he's a good Lestrade.
I have a friend who always says there are only 2 casting directors in all of Britain.
It does feel that way.
That's why you see so many of the same people.
I will say, and especially if you watch any enough BBC television, then you really come to know every single British actor, it feels like.
Yes.
Because I'm just like, oh, I've seen that. I see so many people in movies now where I go like, I've seen him in what? I don't know, like 5 detective shows. I can't even tell you what show he's from.
Yeah.
He's been on all of them, Anyway.
He's always playing suits.
Well, there is sort of that thing too, where it's like, oh, he's gonna be the guy who's not the murderer, but is a dick to the detective when he's asking questions. That's the part he plays in a bunch.
That's what he does.
The last beat of this movie that I do like, the talk about the melancholy of it, is the ending is this dark sort of defeat, but I do like the Watson moment where he tries to go like, look, you didn't get justice and Mary Kelly died. It's like, but they did die protecting that girl, and Mary Kelly never gave up where that child was, and they cut to the child. Right. So there is this, it's a melancholy ending. It's not complete bleakness. There is this tiny thing.
Again, that's smart storytelling.
And that's very noirish in that way about I did one little thing of good maybe came out of this in this other world of total darkness.
The little kid it probably at an orphanage with nuns, but having a happy life, and that's the whole thing. No one will ever know that is a person in the bloodline of the royal family.
Yeah.
But that child will grow up protected. Yeah. Very nice. And it does end. The ending is really, whether people like it or think that's not Sherlock, I love where their coping mechanisms are in place, and they know each other so well that Sherlock's like, do you mind if I play some music, and it's like Watson going, oh, by all means.
Well, I like that he goes you're asking me.
You're asking me?
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, do it.
And actually,
like, oh, thank
the
you.
best piece of music is him playing violin at the end. That sort of melancholy,
100%.
mournful,
100%.
and it goes into once again the very classy. I love the very theatrical. Sherlock Holmes was played by Christopher Plummer.
Really
I need. By the way, other than Wes Anderson, nobody's doing that, and I would love to see more of that. Like your cast of characters end credits sort of thing.
Yeah.
Speaking of Knives Out,
they
did a cool thing.
Used to go, every great movie has a great cast of characters.
We talked about
cast of actors.
We talked about that with some of the Universal Monster movies. The James Whale ones in particular did a good cast is worth repeating. Because they did it, they had the thing at the beginning, and then they would go, "Good cast is worth repeating." Colin Clive was Dr. Frankenstein, and that stuff. And actually, I was going to say, I love the Knives Out thing where there's a little hand-drawn portrait of each of the actors at the end, next to their names. Right. I love stuff like that.
And they did that in Glass Onion too.
I love that. Once again, just
stained windows,
old school, man. There's a hot take. That Rian Johnson, I like what he's up to.
Hey, he's a pretty good director, I tell you what.
I like that guy.
He's making some movies that I approve.
Yeah. He also made a great Star Wars movie that people shit on him for, which is whatever.
100% John Campbell.
Thank you.
Agreed.
Yep. An amazing Star Wars movie.
It could have used a little bit of editing. But
disagree, but
Brendan Jones.
Don't. It's so good.
The Casino Planet sequence.
I love the Canto Bight sequence.
It could have been trimmed.
No.
Why can't John Boyega have fun? Why won't you let him?
By the way, if you've read any modern John Boyega interview, that's kind of the tone of his interviews. Why can't I have fun? That guy, very talented dude who has been run through the ringer of Hollywood, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that guy
we have failed him.
Well, he's still young enough that I hope, we get some more stuff because he's great. He is very good.
Yeah, he absolutely is.
Yeah, I saw him in Attack the Block like everybody for the first time and went like, that guy has charisma for days.
Clearly, he was supposed to end up with Poe. Come on, man.
Come on.
Well, I mean,
were we watching the same movie? Because that's obviously
we'll save it for off mic. But I have big issues with the idea that they just don't commit to any relationship. But
they have to create two spur of the moment girlfriends in the last movie. You're like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
You don't introduce new characters at the end of a trilogy. You don't.
Well, not in that capacity.
Not major ones.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I think we can all agree that if you're building the canon of Sherlock Holmes movies, which I kind of come back to, this is for sure in the must-watch mix.
Absolutely.
Right?
100%. Top 5.
Absolutely. This is, and it does sort of feel like, ooh, we've seen it. You see it. There's a lot of Sherlock Holmes movies, but there are very few that are at this level of that's real deal filmmaking. I think this and 7% Solution to me are always
those
wow.
Are my favorite too.
Wow. Those are really doing something. These are real deal takes. All right. And of course, if you want more of our takes, you can head over to our Patreon page, which is patreon.com/PunchUpEnt. That's PunchUpEnt. And make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube. We're youtube.com/@PunchUpEntertainment. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. Never miss an episode of our shows. Next week on the show, though, and I know you're all wondering what that is a Robin Jones addition to the list.
What
we're doing? It's a little left of center because we are watching a filmed stage production of 1981 Sherlock Holmes starring Frank Langella,
which I've never seen.
I've never seen it either. I know it's.
Brendan, come on! You never saw this on HBO?
It's
back when HBO would do live theater.
Which, by the way, bring that back, please. I would love to see them do more live theater.
They did a great production of Wait Until Dark with Catherine Ross and Stacy Keach.
Holy shit! I need to. Is that really somewhere? Good. I would love to track that because I will say,
yes,
this is available in individual acts on YouTube, and I think that's the only place.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, I wasn't alive in 1981 when this aired, but. Yeah, I know. I'm young, but I'm not that young. But they never. I don't think they ever re-aired this anything, or at least not for very long. Because I've never heard this, or I've never seen this. I've never seen it available to. I would have watched it. I love Frank Langella.
I will tell everybody it has been about that long since I've seen it. I have it on a YouTube playlist, but I.
Oh, it's on YouTube. That's how we can see.
Yeah. It's broken up into acts on YouTube.
Yes.
Yes.
And
it's in watchable
share
VHS
them with
quality.
You guys
or
with you.
I tracked it down. Yeah, it's.
But this is a movie I remember very clearly having the young Stephen Collins in it.
Uh-oh.
So be ready for that.
Uh-oh.
And I don't know if it's also Susan Clark that's in this one as well.
Oh.
But
back-to-back Susan Clark appearances, possibly.
Yeah, but I can tell you that this has absolutely one of my favorite bits of any Sherlock Holmes thing that I've ever encountered.
Bullets again.
This is the fucking bullets.
Yeah, you know what?
We've already seen that. We've seen it already.
It's the best.
Can I say you are correct? We will get back-to-back Susan Clark, but we'll also get, and I'm very excited, one of my faves, Tom Atkins. legendary horror movie dirtbag actor.
Yeah.
And
that's great.
Ooh.
Does he bring his mustache?
Little baby Christian Slater's in this too.
Oh.
Yeah. So
back when he was doing theater.
Yeah.
Every now and then you hear in the background
just a little baby.
Oh, will someone please feed the child?
He's in the audience. I didn't say he was on stage.
Yeah. No, yeah, he's and then somebody goes, "I'm sorry, my baby Christian Slater."
That's what they would often do.
Yeah.
Mother's almost always the full name.
And the great
My
Dwight
child,
Schultz. The great Dwight Schultz is in it. Murdoch from the A-Team, and of course Lieutenant Barclay from Star Trek: The Next Generation.
And you'll recognize the character actor who plays Moriarty in it. It's a very this play was written at the turn of the century.
Didn't we watch a movie that was kind of based on it, but also deviated quite a bit?
The one that we watched, I think
very
it's
first
Fatal Hour.
Yeah, that was the very first.
The first one we did was loosely, but it took a lot of liberties. But all right, I'm excited to see this because I do love a Frank Langella. Even if he doesn't
really the actresses who canceled,
almost
everyone watched.
Well, yeah, he didn't need no intimacy coordinator, Brendan. That's not how they did it back in the day.
Who does?
And next week, if you tune in, I'll tell you a story I heard about Mel Brooks and Frank Langella.
Ooh,
I can't wait.
All right. Well, there's a reason to tune back in, but that's going to do it for this week's episode. Until next week, the case file is closed.